Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan. Welcome back to the Incompetent Captain Logan Show. It is me, Captain Logan, and joining me as always is my fantastic... Why is it... I can't even slide the volume down. It's just this.
Just drop it.
That's all you got. DJ, drop the song. Okay, all right. Anyway, how you doing, DJ?
I'm doing great. I'm having a blast already.
It's a weird sort of technical issue, really. So I didn't even realize until just now that I didn't have the regular Geekvolution logo up. I just had the Captain Logan Show logo up. So when we went to... When I went to change the logo, like the screen, like I usually do, it just changed to us, and I went, oh.
I know. I felt like I was caught in the shower without my towel on. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you hurried up and put your clothes back on. Anyway, so that was dumb. Welcome everybody. Thanks a lot.
We'll tell people about our pre-show activities that we partake in every show. Our pre-show ritual that we always have.
That's the thing is that, of course, it's common knowledge that nobody who does a podcast wears pants.
No,
but
unnecessary.
Most of us actually are completely buck naked, actually, until we come on camera, like seconds before we come on camera. In fact, if you make the big bucks, if you're really popular on YouTube, like of course I am, what you do is you get the diamond crusted like 60s bat poles. You know, you get the really expensive 60s bat poles, and then you jump on one of those and you go up real quick and you come back down and you're fully clothed.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't even have to get your clothes on. That's how it works.
I'm still waiting for you to get that installed into your bat cave. You got to get it installed before you're too old to slide down a pole.
You have to really make it before you're actually able to. Yeah, dude. I've said this before, but I've talked with Sarah, legitimately, seriously, about getting a fireman pole. I was joking about the naked bit, about getting a fireman's pole installed.
Yeah, you got to.
And my Batman friends would all be really excited about it, but you know who else would be really stoked?
Your children?
Now, Vincent Haskins, for a completely different reason, because he'd come over in his Ghostbusters getup, and he'd go up and down the thing. It'd be like...
He'd be like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, for me, it'd be a bat cave. For him, it would be the firehouse.
Problem is, you'd have to put... I don't know the layout of your room, but you'd have to put it somewhat close to the stairs. Otherwise, you'd be running all the way back through your basement to the stairs to go back up and do it again.
Well, it's not going to be practical, but you can't do it the way Adam West did it, because you're also not going to get rocket jets up underneath the platform, which they only did like once or twice in that series because apparently it was really expensive.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Do you know about that? Have you ever, I don't know how much of that show you've ever seen, but there's an episode where they put jets underneath it, so they go, and maybe they do it in the movie too, I can't remember, but they go back up it. It's like...
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I wouldn't expect you could do that. Who knows? Maybe a few more subscribers and you'll be there.
Yeah. Well, there's always a higher tier that you can get to.
Yeah, put the bat pole tier on the on
Patreon. Yeah, if we get to this certain level of monthly income on Patreon, we're gonna put in a fireman's pole that none of you will be able to enjoy. It's just me. It's just very important, and also we'll tack on swimming on camera. Anyway, welcome everybody. We appreciate you being here.
We'll recreate the scene from the plane in the first Iron Man for you. Then you'll get to enjoy the pole.
Austin's in the comments there, and he says, "See, this is the problem with Austin not being at work anymore at this time of night." He says 1 minute in, and Cap is talking about stripping on his diamond-studded pole.
Hey, no Raptor room is complete without a pole.
That's true. Nobody even put a gun to my head. I don't know why my brain is going to these places right now. Anyway, I appreciate you guys stopping by to hang out with us on the Captain Logan Show. For the next 2 hours, we're going to talk about whatever you guys are interested in, save the lead-in topic, which tonight is about the Aquaman 2 trailer. Look, we've got one more superhero movie this year, and then who knows when we're going to get more of those, because everything's getting put
off.
This
could be the last superhero movie ever made.
Ever made, yeah. Well, look, I'm making one, okay? So at least there's mine.
That's true. You have the epilogue.
Right. Right, my movie could be the last superhero movie ever made.
Well, that would be fitting, wouldn't it?
It would. No, it'd be, yeah. Especially, I mean, I don't want to give anything away, but especially the way I put that movie together, it'd be really funny if it was the last. It won't be, of course. But anyway, the heck was I talking about? So we'll talk about the Aquaman 2 trailer because there's nothing else, in the news to talk about. I actually do have a couple of other, now that I'm thinking about it, amusing articles I might bring up. I don't know if I'll be able to show them to you or if I'll just read them off my phone, but just a couple of amusing headlines. Anyway, so yeah, if we're hurting for material later, I'll bring those things up. But besides the Aquaman 2 trailer, we'll talk about anything geeky, especially that you're interested in: comics, superhero things, sci-fi stuff, whatever comes to mind. Float your boat within reason. We will tackle this evening within the 2 hours of allotted time of the Captain Logan show, assuming that we don't go over, because that never happens. But there's a first time for anything. There's Harley Quinn again. She's making her obligatory appearance.
Yeah, maybe she'll show up underwater in this movie.
Well, I didn't glimpse her for the for like quarter a second that you saw Amber Heard, but it's entirely possible she was in there and I just missed it.
She could have been right behind her. They're in the same scene.
Yeah, that's true. It could have been that she was being protected by Mira, while Mira was also like screaming in agony.
We'll get into that strategic.
Do you think she was screaming in agony because she's upset that she's not in the movie very much? Do you think that's what it was?
I think that was like her dying. She was like in a cage, like I don't know what that was. It was a very interesting choice to only show her in that one scene where she's like trying to get out and like suffocating or something.
Well, I appreciate you spoiling my only prediction for this movie, which is that Mira dies. And I'm not super excited. If I'm right about that, I'm not super excited about that scene, because what will happen is the audience will explode in applause and whooping, and then I won't know what's happening for the next 5 minutes of the movie. That's what will happen.
We could completely take it out.
Yeah, when she dies in that movie, everybody's gonna throw a party in the theater. It will be crickets up to that moment.
I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see what it's like. The first one is a hoot.
Because a lot of fans are going to be in two camps with this movie, and there is a third camp, people that are actually legitimately interested in the sequel to that movie. I don't know how big of a percentage that is. The other two camps are going to be people who refuse to go because Amber Heard is in it, and people who want to go to see how little screen time she gets. And those may even be the main camps of people that go to this movie. I'm not sure.
That's so strange.
It's a weird world that we live in. What's going to be stranger is when we get to that, and I don't know if I'm going to front load it and try to get it done this year. I'm thinking about it. But what's going to be really weird is when Austin and I do Aquaman, the first movie for the Superhero Rewind Project, and actually like watch Amber Heard in something after the crazy ordeal with the trial and everything with Johnny Depp. Because I didn't know who she was when I saw that movie. And I remember even then, a lot of people just, like, hating her. Like, it seemed like sort of that, I always forget her name, Katie Holmes. It felt like almost, I mean, it's a very different situation, but it felt almost like a Katie Holmes thing where it was like, this is an actress I'm supposed to hate for some reason. Because a lot of people, when it begins, it's like, I mean, Rachel's an okay character, I guess, but why did it have to be Katie Holmes? I hate Katie Holmes. And I'm like, she's fine. What's the problem with Katie? I never understood that. People hate that actress, apparently.
Yeah, I never pay attention to the gossip stuff, so I never know what's going on.
Yeah. Well,
I barely even know the actors unless I see them in, like, several movies.
Yeah, typically me too. And then you get things like this that you just can't get away from, where it's such a massive phenomenon.
Oh, yeah.
That, like, I know things about the Depp Heard trial now because that's all anybody talked about while it was happening. And I actually looked at some of that material while it was going on. I've watched a documentary about it now. Which I don't recommend that. Nobody should watch that documentary. But anyway,
yeah, just watch the trial. It's probably more entertaining than that documentary was.
Yeah. Well, the documentary was a little biased, I guess, was the problem with it. But it was kind of nice to have something.
A biased documentary?
I know.
What?
I know. But I will say it was nice to have something that kind of distilled it down, and you didn't have to listen to all the long pauses and rambling that didn't really have enough to do with anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
didn't do that. I just watched like YouTubers breaking it down for me.
See, I made the mistake of watching some clips like as they came up during during the day that they dropped.
Yeah, because they were live.
So I'd watch
streaming it.
Yeah, I say clip. I would watch like half an hour of somebody on the stand, kind of wanting to fast forward, little bits. And the thing that most sticks with me from that is just the way Johnny Depp kept pronouncing Amber Heard's name. Like, I don't know why it just got in my brain. Like, Miss Heard? It's just like, it'll never leave my brain now. Miss Heard? So anyway, well, here in a little bit we'll talk more about the trailer with Amber Heard. And yeah, so if there's anything you guys want us to talk about this evening, we've already got some super chats. You can leave one in any dollar amount. That guarantees that we'll chat about what you want to. Thanks very much to anybody who has done that. A quick plug for Dan Torrey's Kickstarter for his comic book series, Star Spangled Tales. I put up a video that he made the other day about that. He is more than half funded on that now. They've got, I think, a couple more weeks, a little less than a couple weeks now. And they need your help to get that to completion so that Dan can put his comic book out. The art looks really pretty. It looks really cool. And I'm not just saying that. It's got a history bent. It's very much where Dan Torrey lives. It looks like an anthology thing, and it's got kind of a crypt keeper sort of character. It looks like in. Yeah, I think his name is Sergeant Spangle, with a skull face that looks awesome. So yeah, I chipped in for the Kickstarter. I think you guys should consider doing that as well. And let's go ahead and get into the show here. Oh, let me also mention real quick. So tomorrow night, Austin and I are gonna watch a movie that I've never seen and always been curious about. We're gonna blind commentary it. Austin has. It's a verb now. Austin has seen this movie a million times. I've never seen it, so it's going to be a lot of me reacting on Austin actually talking about things with the movie, probably. We're going to watch AVP. We're going to watch Alien versus Predator.
Wow.
Apparently, I mean, I've always heard that this is just an atrocious, disappointing mistake. But I'm very curious to see it finally, and that's what we're gonna do tomorrow. We kicked around doing the live action Little Mermaid, and then I heard back from a lot of people that it probably wouldn't be funny enough, and we probably wouldn't have a good enough time. That it's like it's dull at its best. And I went, okay, I guess maybe we won't do that, and we'll do something that will maybe be more fun. So we're gonna do AVP tomorrow night, 9:00 Central is the plan right now. I'll let you guys know, of course, if that changes.
And you'll have both of your kids, Freddy and Jason, with you.
Yeah, well that'll be the next one.
When you actually do Freddy versus Jason, you'll have your kids.
No, there's nudity in that movie, and it's very violent. That was a joke. I'm just kidding. We're not doing that. We
do not condone that kind of behavior.
So DJ, you saw the trailer. How excited are you for Aquaman 2?
Yeah, I don't know what camps you were referring to earlier, but I am in just sure camp. Like
can I say that's actually goofy, exactly where I am with
these movies look goofy and fun. Like I had a good time with the first one. It was insane and over the top, and this one looks. He's like flying around on a seahorse, on a giant seahorse.
Yeah.
And the bad guy's got a big giant octopus claw machine. Like it looks insane. I don't know. It looks fun. I will say
Patrick Wilson looks like he's having a good time.
Yeah, Patrick Wilson back on the good guys team. That seems fun.
No, that's fun. That's the part of it that that I really perked up at. Where like maybe I should have expected that, but like the uneasy, unlikely alliance between them, and where Aquaman is kind of ribbing his brother and trying really hard to like make it a familial relationship, and that all looks fun.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Thor Loki thing, and
and I'd rather watch this than any of those.
Yeah, and that's where I am with this because I have no frame of reference for Aquaman. I know literally nothing about the character, so I am able to completely divorce myself from any form of adaptation and I am able to do with this what most people do with Ragnarok and just have complete fun with it. Whereas I know a little bit more about Thor. I like that character a lot, and I hate that he's so completely different. This I'm sure there are big Aquaman fans that hate it. I know Dan hates
Well, Dan
those
Torrey,
movies.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but I don't know any of that. So I'm
And
blissfully
understandably
ignorant and just enjoying it.
Understandably so, I'm somewhere in between where it helps for me that I know more about source material, but I also don't care a lot. Like, I'm not a big Aquaman guy. So it's not what I would want with the Aquaman things that have resonated with me at all. And it is kind of weird that that first movie was so Jeff Johns. And of course, you got that relic from another time thing where he's fired like very quickly after that movie comes out. Even though a lot of the mistakes that were made didn't have anything to do with him, like with DCEU things, because he came in after a lot of the problems that were the reason he got fired. The whole thing is so weird. So it is kind of odd to me that this movie looks so in line with the first movie. That there's no pivot, there's no attempt to make it something else. Now that was also a popular movie, or at least it made a lot of made a lot of money globally. So you see why they would stick the course, but at the same time, it still looks very Jeff Johns, but he can't have really been involved in it, I don't think. And then, but then of course the actual main character, like the way we're handling Aquaman, because that starts from the Zack Snyder plays, isn't anything like his version or any comic version of that character, really. You know, your whole dude bro Aquaman thing. So for me, it's all about the spectacle and the trappings, and I think Momoa is fine in that movie. It's just not what I would want for that character, but I also don't have that much of a stake in it, so it's not that big of a deal to me. So like I see that first movie as very much a guilty pleasure kind of thing. Some of the ways that it's not great is some of the charm with it. It's one of those movies for me where it's like, you guys put a whole season of a CW show sandwiched inside of one movie. Yeah. It's just arc after arc after arc. I'm seeing like 19 issues of a run. No, I do too. Yeah, it's just like, if this looked more serious, I would be a lot more leery of it, but it looks like fun, disposable entertainment. It would certainly be nice if the DCEU could end on some other sort of note, and I know technically it will, probably, because that Waller show is likely to be the last kind of hurrah for that universe, is the sense I get. But for mass audiences that actually go to see this stuff, this will be the last DCEU thing, right? Mm-hmm. And it would be cool if there was something that was a little bit more of a wrap up for everything. It would have been nice if Flash could have been the last movie and it was good, and it was actually a better kind of Flashpoint thing to soft reboot us into the James Gunn universe. But this is me, in hindsight, being armchair critic of a thing that you couldn't really expect that from, because so much changed after these movies were made, and movies were made, mistakes were made, and you got some reshoots and stuff with Flash, particularly with the Batman scene at the end and all of that, but they weren't going to spend a crazy enormous amount of money to really fix that ending to be a thing that would actually soft reboot us, even though there was talk that maybe it would sort of be that. And then even if they had done that, it would have been really awkward if then this movie gets tacked on right after that. So I don't know what there's not much you can do about it. But this is like one more, last hurrah in a universe that I don't have any investment in. I'd rather watch this, and we'll see how it is. I mean, obviously it's not out yet, but what it looks like, which is more of the same. So at least I'm comfortable with that. I know what I'm getting myself into. If it's just more of the same, I had fun with the original Aquaman. I would rather that than more Shazam, and I liked that first movie okay when I first saw it, but then I've not cared for it as much on one or two repeat viewings. So like Shazam 2, I was really lukewarm on, did not care, didn't love Blue Beetle. It was throwaway and kind of dull, kind of throwaway in the wrong ways. This has got some energy. This looks like it's got some life in it. It looks like a big budget cartoon like that first movie was. So like, whether it's your preference, whether it's really what you want or not, I think you can see the money on the screen in a way that you couldn't as much with something like Shazam 2. Not that movie looks terrible, but it just wasn't anything exciting about it. There just wasn't a lot of weight there. And this just looks like fun, preposterous, in your face nuttiness. And sure, fine. Like I'm there for that.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need You don't need everything to look photorealistic when it's a giant, huge Hawaiian man riding around on a giant seahorse. Like if you're being creative with the visual effects, you lighten up a little bit, and you don't because it's never gonna look real. So it's just like, who cares? Let's just go with it. I will say the one thing that in the trailer that I was like, I don't need that. I hope that's like the first 10 minutes of the movie is him like stumbling around like being a normal dad. Like I don't
need
want
that.
to see that stuff.
I hope that's the opening scene and then we just move on. And that's going to be really awkward if too much of Mira's stuff gets cut, where it's like, here's Aquaman. He is a father.
For this scene.
He has a wife that never appears. And I guess the way they can kind of tiptoe around that is she's busy doing things in Atlantis while he's back on Earth for some reason. Because it looks like he's just taking care of his kid in the lighthouse. Maybe he's just on vacation with his kid.
Because he is
that can't be status quo, because he is king of Atlantis. Which is the other thing I really appreciate about this is it's not like Thor, where, I mean, I know they're only going to get these two. But, you know, it's not like Thor where every movie he's got to decide that he doesn't want to be the king again. Like, it's nice that even though he's saying, I don't like this job, I don't want to do it, at least he's taking responsibility and he's trying and he's doing he's doing you know, his duty and what's expected of him, even if it's a little bit begrudging. Like, I appreciate all of that. I was a little worried that we were going to come into this and just be like, I'm Aquaman. I decided to be king last movie, and then 5 minutes later I was like, screw it, I'm done with that. It's like a Dark Knight Rises thing where it's like 8 years later he's like, no, I'm not going to be Aquaman anymore.
Yes, I hope that it didn't look like a lot, but you can never tell from a trailer. But hopefully that's just like the first scene, and then we just are in.
Okay, fine, Dagon Spear. I meant on the surface of the Earth. Okay, he's like, Atlantis is also on Earth, Cap. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
You meant on literal Earth.
Yeah, on the Earth. Yeah. It's hard not to think about this in terms of like Earth and Asgard, you know what I mean? Especially when they're like the seven realms, the seven seas or whatever. Because they even talk about it almost like the Asgardian realm thing. It does look like it's got the potential to be another kind of cookie cutter artifact plot with the black scepter or the dark scepter or whatever that is. But again, if it's just a big cartoon.
Yeah, if it's fun, as long as it's not Wonder Woman 2 with the artifact, like that was not fun for me at all.
Well, this movie can't be 2.5 hours long. That's the first thing. That was a movie that was both a cartoon and taking itself too seriously. I don't even know how that works, but It did kind of have that problem. This looks like it's at least not going to try to be too much more than the sum of its parts. I hope thematically and story-wise, it will be bloated. Somebody in the comments said this looks really bloated. I can't help but say good. You know what I mean? Because like that's what the first movie was, and if we're stuck with that material and that's the universe, fine, give me more of that. I don't care. Now it doesn't have to be for everybody. If it's not your thing, don't go see it. I don't know, like. And then the big question is this going to perform better than the last few things they've put out? I think they cut a darn good trailer.
Yeah, it looks fun. I hope James Wan has like not read any criticism of the first movie, and he just makes it exactly like the first.
That's what it looks like. That's exactly what it looks like. Yeah.
This is the first one that I might see this year. I didn't see Shazam or Flash or Blue Beetle, so
you didn't miss a lot.
I might see this one. I'll probably never watch it again. I remember watching Aquaman.
Yeah, I've only gone back to Aquaman one time. Again,
it wasn't as fun the second time.
Yeah, so very disposable.
One-time watches, for me anyway.
Well, and then my worry is that this won't captivate me in even the way the first movie did, because I was just surprised by how bombastic it was, especially because of even up to that point the ways that some DCEU movies had kind of been careful not to be too comic booky. You did have some at that point, but nothing had gotten that crazy. And it does have the distinction of being one of the only comic book movies that has the audacity to go as far as it does with some of the madness with some of the like underwater vehicles and animal writing and
the villain. When's the last time we got a villain that was as hammy as the villain in the first movie?
Yeah,
it's just like screaming. he's like Whiplash. It's like a comic book, like Snidely Whiplash version of Whiplash from Iron Man 2. He's just like, well, I can't even remember what he does. He's like, oh, I remember what it was, and I have to say a slight swear word for this. But when he's like trapped in the, or is it his dad? Someone when they're trapped in the submarine, and and Aquaman gets away, and he has like a missile launcher or something. He's like, "Damn you!" Like, before he dies. It's so goofy. And then like he's having like his villain montage, and they're playing like the rains in Africa. Oh, it's amazing.
Oh my god,
it's so goofy.
It's insane. Well, I think I said this back when we reviewed it. Maybe that may not be a great Aquaman movie. It's a really good Power Rangers movie. You know, and I want more of that because we've never had a good Power Rangers movie. So.
Yeah, he's going to get the powers from, what is it, Mirren? What is the planet in the first Power?
It's Phaedos.
Phaedos.
He's going to Phaedos.
He's got to get the.
Why couldn't we have
the great power? They couldn't even think of a cool name.
Great power.
It's just the great power. It's like a Walmart brand.
It's the Mountain Lightning of.
Yeah. Well, Mountain Lightning is what Justin drives in the Turbo movie.
Oh, right. It's like, I think that's Mountain Thunder actually. It's like remember what we learned that with the great power we can accomplish anything.
That's a Walmart commercial. With the great value, all things are possible.
All things are possible. Yeah, why couldn't we have had somebody like the actress who played Dulcia be Mira instead of Amber Heard?
Yeah. Sticks. These sticks make a whistling sound.
Yes, a frog. Anyway, let's go ahead and
It's time for another commentary of that. We've already done like 2. We need to do another one.
Let's do another one. Do you have any predictions about how that movie will perform?
I think it's got to do better than the other 3 this year, right?
I think so too. But
it might be hurt by the other 3. It might not do as well as it would have had those 3 not happened. So
I can't help but think that the Amber Heard thing will affect it at the box office. And I don't know by how much, but I do think there will be some percentage lost because of that whole thing. And if you doubt that, let me show you something. If you type in Aquaman 2 trailer, actually let's just type in, what was it I did earlier? If you go to Google Images, because I was looking for wallpapers to put behind my thumbnail tonight, right? You go to Google Images and you type in Aquaman 2. The second picture is Amber Heard. Like, all anybody is reporting about or talking about with this is the fact that she's in this movie, and people are going to have to put up with watching this actress that they don't like, and this person that they think is an unconscionable human being. And she's everywhere. She's in a quarter of a second of the trailer, but we can't get away from her face if we look up anything about this movie. You can't tell me that's not going to affect it at the box office. Yeah, that's at least annoying. To some degree. Because I think there's a lot of people that have just already written it off because of that. So the combination, and maybe 5%, I don't know. But the combination of that, and I don't even know if it's a 1-2 punch. This other thing is probably bigger. But the combination of that and the fact that the other DCEU movies have not done big numbers this year, and people are talking much, much, much more and harder about superhero fatigue, is going to be potentially difficult for it. And then the fact that these things just don't really matter in the long run to people looking at the future. That kind of hurts it as well. But that's where that kind of goes against the whole superhero fatigue thing, where how much of it is people are tired of superhero movies, how much of it is people are tired of mediocre superhero movies, and how much of it is people know these aren't going anywhere, so why support them at the box office? And then people will say, well, yeah, but they're not even watching them on HBO Max. And I say, that's because then the word of mouth goes around for the people that did see it, and they say, eh. And nobody's going to click on a thing where the reviews were eh.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I mean, it won't do anything. I don't think it'll be as big as the first one, obviously, but because of the state that the DC movies are in right now. But I don't know. It could be. But like I said, I think it could do better than the other three, which is not saying much. But maybe they'll have somewhat a hit to end the universe with.
Noah O says that's people talking about it on YouTube. Most average consumers won't care, I think. I would usually agree with you, but with this particular thing, it's just all I heard about while that trial was going on. It was just like a lot of regular people got deeply involved in that and decided that like she was one of the worst people who ever lived. I think it has to affect that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they cut a lot of her stuff out of it. Like, clearly Warner's is concerned about that.
Well, Noah said, or someone said, Day Ghost said, wasn't her having a small role part of the trial? So I think they were already cutting her down, and that's why that was part of her lawsuit thing. I don't know.
Oh, maybe that's true.
So I think even if that hadn't happened, I think she was barely going to be in this movie, but she's really probably not going to be in it much now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I could be overstating that. I'm not sure, but it is just weird to me that that's all I'm seeing people talking about with it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's just YouTube videos. It seems like whenever I do hear people bring that up, the first thing I hear is, "Oh no, I don't want to have to go sit in the theater and watch her in a movie, even if she's not in very much of it." Like, I have heard that from people. So I don't know, but it's hard to say. Somebody in the comments was complaining about Amber Heard shaming going on like here. I don't know if he's talking about us or people in the comments, but I'm not saying anything about anything that happened with her in that trial or anything. I don't want to be gossip volution. I'm just kind of reporting it the way I'm seeing it, that a lot of people don't like that person.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion either. I didn't really pay attention to the trial when it was coming out, so I don't know. But even if I did research and did come to that conclusion, I'm not like a
wouldn't stop me from going to the theater.
I'm not a boycott person. Like, there's a million other people. Like, films are huge collaborative works of arts. I don't know if we can use that term in this one, but they like a lot of other people worked on it. So I mean, I don't know. Even if I don't like someone, I can still watch it for all the other people.
Yeah, no, Aquaman was brought up in the trial because that was a kind of legendary moment to people when Johnny Depp said, "How do you think she got Aquaman?" Did you know about that?
Talking about Miss Heard.
Miss Heard. How Miss Heard?
He cannot. Just, I don't know. It's like he's playing Tonto in the trial.
Yeah, I'm like, Johnny Depp, what accent is that? In the second that you're saying that
it's his own accent. He's as mysterious as Johnny Wiseau.
Oh, Tommy Wiseau, sure.
Tommy Wiseau, yeah.
Well, anyway, let's go ahead and get to questions, shall we? Whatever folks want to talk about now, this or anything else. I think it looks fun.
Yeah.
That's my comment.
I might have to join you for the spoiler cast on that one.
Sure. Hopefully it's fun. It looks like we could maybe expect a little bit of fun chemistry from Momoa and Patrick Wilson with that.
Yeah.
I hope that's enough of the movie. I actually really hope that it's that it's kind of like an angry buddy cop thing for enough of that movie.
Yeah, that'd be great. I haven't seen the first one. I told you I've only seen it like once or twice. I didn't even know who that was when he revealed it, and it was like some old man there. I was like,
you know what? Honestly, the way that the hair and makeup is handled, I couldn't tell who it was either.
No,
we're like, I know somebody, and then I found myself thinking, is it Defoe? Wait, no. Did Defoe die in that? Did Defoe die in that movie? I can't remember.
I thought the same thing. I think he does die in the first one.
Yeah, and then I'm with the rest of the trailer and went, oh, that's sad. Defoe's not in this. And then I was like, well, what are they gonna do? Bring him back from the dead? But I couldn't remember if he was dead or not. That's how. It's one of those things where I'm not invested in that material. I don't care about that movie. It's fun while I'm watching it.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on in that scene. I was like, I had the thing where I was like, is that Defoe and like a bunch of hair and beard? And then I was like, he calls him brother, and I was like, wait, is this supposed to be his actual brother? Is this a reveal? And then he says, don't call me brother. I'm like, oh, okay, I finally see it.
Yeah, and then I had to remind, oh, that's right, he has a brother.
It was fun. All right, well, yeah. So
It was funny.
when is that coming out? December? What is that?
I think it's Christmas.
Oh, I will say the first thing in the trailer that made me laugh was the first second of the trailer when it said it literally opens with it shows Jason Momoa and then it says "See" because he had that show on Apple TV Plus that was called "See" and it did like 3 seasons. So that's all I could think of, and it was like it was just a really weird way to open the trailer. It
They
felt
didn't
like
do that on purpose, right?
I don't think so, but what a terrible name for a show. "See."
Yeah. Now you tack on "is for cookie" and people are gonna watch it.
Cookie Monster is the goat, man. I love Cookie Monster.
You heard it here first, folks.
If he was
DJ's falling in with the masses. He's saying goat now.
If he was in this movie, that would be amazing.
Aquaman. Could you imagine if Cookie Monster was
the third in the brother trio?
No, I was gonna, like Cookie Monster is Black Manta.
Connor says he just calls people brother like he's Hulk Hogan.
I don't know. I will say this real quick about that because I just mentioned Black Manta and this was another point I wanted to make. There's a line I draw with everything, and like I'm fine with the hamminess and the cheesiness with that first movie, if that's what they decided to do with it. There's a place where I'm worried about going too far with the obnoxious speechifying. Because the first thing you hear with Black Manta is like, I'm going to murder his whole family, and then it just goes on and on and on, and I'm like, it's ham-fisted, and that's fine, but like a little goes a long way.
Yeah, he's like sitting in the throne like he's Black Panther or Black Adam.
He's just talking and talking and talking, and I'm like, oh no.
All the characters with black in their superhero name have to sit in these big thrones with their abs out. That's what you do.
That's the trope now. That's the cliche. Is if you're a superhero or a villain with black in your name, you sit in a throne.
Yeah, I hear you. I would much rather have that and just playing it ridiculously straight than saying a ridiculous like over the top speech like that and then like getting hit in the face with a ball or like someone comes through and you trip. Like that's what they would do in the Marvel movies. Is like they say like a big over the top speech and then a rubber chicken hits them in the face.
Or they trip on a banana peel. Yeah. The first movie did play it straighter than that. Well, I don't think there is any like undercut. Is there any of that kind of nonsense where like you undercut a dramatic scene?
I don't think so. I
if
think
you're gonna be a melodrama, be a melodrama. That's
what I say. That's the only way it's fun. Like if you're in on the joke, it's not fun. Like you're just like. That's all of Ragnarok is like, isn't this stupid? Like superheroes are not cool. Like watch this, Hulk's about to go. He's gonna go. Oh nope, he just.
Yeah, it's the one kind of tongue in cheek. Well, it's not even tongue in cheek. It's tongue out.
It's it's like making fun of superheroes the whole time. It's so weird. Just be what you're gonna be.
Again, that's where I want to do Power Rangers.
Yeah,
where like everybody in it takes it seriously, and you're like, this is the stupidest thing. And like the Power Rangers almost never, go up against a monster and go, that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. They see the dumbest, most ridiculous. It would be like a microphone monster or a pineapple monster or something, and they go, oh my god, this big thing is coming to kill us. Not that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
No, it's terrifying.
Yeah, that's what you want. Connor, I'm curious to know how I'll feel about this with one having more creative control. I like Furious 7 and Aquaman is dumb fun, but the properties that the studio had more control over. Oh, and then he continues writing. Malignant was a blank check movie one cashed in his $2 billion movies on, and I thought it was too indulgent with the dumb without enough of the charm. Yeah, that's a good question.
That's a valid fear. Although we were just talking about how there wasn't much charm in the first movie. We just kind of liked the dumbness of it. So
yeah, and part of it with me too is that I'm taken in admittedly too much with the bright colors and stuff. Like I feel like a little kid with that movie. Like it's just a coloring book that somebody did a really good job on.
Yeah, and I will say like we did Wakanda Forever, and I liked Namor in that movie. But the underwater stuff was just blah, just boring and bland and gray and muted and
it
just,
looks cool in Aquaman.
yeah, it looks much more fun.
Well, people said that about Little Mermaid, that they didn't know how to film I didn't see it, but that they didn't know how to film the underwater stuff, and it just looked really flat. And I'm like,
It's a hard thing to do.
but there's some precedent for it now. Like, if you're going to take anything from Aquaman, it should be the way the underwater scenes are filmed.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you want to, like, you know, rent a fleet of submarines and take 15 years to make your underwater James Cameron movie, then. But I don't think we're going to get that treatment for Aquaman.
No, and I don't think it's warranted either.
Exactly.
Okay, anyway, let's get some questions.
All right, yeah, people are putting in some super chats. First one came in was Ryder, $2.
Time.
How
I gotta get my
important-
gong. Hold on. I know everybody
sorry,
loves the
sorry.
gong. Maybe at some point I'll
gentle
do.
gong.
Maybe at some point I'll do a super chat goal for not having the gong. I'm sorry. I put it on the screen, but I forgot to announce it at the beginning of the show. I'm going to try more of these tier list videos. I had a lot of fun with that the other night for a tick show I did. I found a tier list that somebody had made with like 90 tick characters from the 90s show, and I ranked them with the tier list thing. And I want to do more of those. That was really fun. And stuff that more people will actually be interested in and know anything about. So tonight's Super Chat winner gets to choose the next thing I do for a tier list. I'll probably do it over the weekend or next week or something. And it can be... I'm gonna make it mostly open-ended, but I'm gonna ask that it's... one of two things. So very simple, very broad. Please make it about something that I talk about, frequently enough on the channel that I know a lot about, and that people will probably be interested in. It doesn't have to be superhero, but just make it something that I'm kind of known for.
Top 100 animes, go.
Yeah, please don't do anything like that, and please don't make it. It can be about superhero movies, but please don't make it ranking superhero movies themselves, because that, for a tier list, because it's not in an order at all, for a tier list, that ends up just being like mini reviews, where I have to basically come up with a rating or a grade when I haven't seen a movie in a while, and that seems a little pointless considering that I'm constantly reviewing those things and giving them ratings, if that makes any sense. So don't say like do a ranked list, because a lot of people do these. Do a ranked list of all the Batman films. Yeah, that's not going to be interesting to people. People already know what I think of those. You know what I mean? So like, it's not going to make a lot of sense for me to go, I give Dark Knight an A, and I give Dark Knight Rises not an A. So let's not do that. But people have suggested like do a ranked tier list of Batmobiles in Batman movies, or of people who have or like actors who have played Batman, or we could even do the voice actors with that. It doesn't have to just be Batman. I'm just making this. I'm just using these as examples. But things like that. The suggestions that have been most popular that I've been getting, because I've been putting my feelers out on this, have been things that are like a little bit more. Smaller and frivolous and stuff. You know what I mean? Like actors in vehicles and costumes and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
That might be fun. I'm cool, like any aspect of those things. So somebody suggested posters.
Ooh, hey, now you're talking my language.
That's not a bad idea. Like soundtracks. Like there's a lot of aspects of it. It doesn't have to be superhero movies either. But if you wanted to do that, that's what I would ask for. So anyway, tonight's top super chatter gets to pick the next thing I do for a ranked tier list. I will do that somewhere within the next week. I'm pretty sure, at least 2, but probably in the next week. No, what about a Star Trek Captain tier list? Yeah, I would do that. I would do it up to New Trek, but I would do something like that.
All right. You ready, sir?
Yes.
For some super chats. Ryder wants to know, how important is it for you to get camera ready? He didn't do the air quotes. I added that.
I'll let you feel this first. Do you give that any thought at all, or you just sit down and press a button? Now that you're on camera more. I mean, I guess my stuff is probably a little bit different than your own solo stuff, because your stuff is pre-recorded.
Pre-recording stuff and And you got like a nightly schedule where you'll just sit down. I have to do a little planning ahead to try to find a time where I can do it.
Oh, that's a good point too. Yeah. See,
I
I
do
don't miss those days. That's part of why I like to live stream. Is I don't miss the days where it's like I'm gonna do, uh, this video. I gotta carve out this much time to do it.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah. I mean, I run a comb through my hair. I try to pick an appropriate shirt. Like I'll wear one of my, film shirts that's kind of related to what I'm talking about. Camera ready. I guess, yeah. I don't just flop out of bed if that's what he's asking. I do. I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting.
But
See,
I don't like. But
Sorry.
I usually shoot at night, so I'm already like dressed and my hair. I'm already like showered by that point. I don't like take another shower before I shoot a video or something. I'm just like, this is what I look like throughout the day, and then I'll usually shoot around like 8 when the kids go to sleep. So I don't know. I don't put a whole lot of thought into it. I don't like wear makeup or anything.
I interpreted that question very differently. I thought about it more from a psychological standpoint.
Oh, okay. Like
For me, I was thinking more like, do you have to get like your game face on?
oh, that is the biggest problem for doing this for me. Yeah.
Is it?
Because I am so low energy.
I think about that a lot more than I think about exactly what I look like. I do put some thought into that, to some degree. I think more about my background and stuff, though. Like, you've always got the same backdrop. I'll sometimes put like a cardboard standee behind me, or different things like that. Because I can change this back here a little bit. I'm thinking about starting to do even more of that kind of thing. But of course I'll pay attention to what shirt I'm wearing, and like for certain shows I sometimes have work shirts for, like the Superhero Rewind shows. I almost always have my red SR shirt.
Yeah.
Things like that. I try to comb my hair and stuff. But
no, what you're talking about is the biggest thing for me, because that's I would be able to if I was more natural on camera and just kind of a natural like a presenter, I would be able to get so many more videos out. But there's so many nights where I'm just exhausted from work and dealing with the kids all day, and I'm like, okay, I have time to shoot a video, and then I'll just be like, but I can't get the energy up right now to do it. And because I don't know, I really have to like force myself to really raise my voice, even though it doesn't sound like it on camera. If I don't do that, I'm even more low key. And
I think I know the answer to this, but for you, does it help having a co-host or to be like in our situation, working with a host that has more natural energy than you do, to bring you up to that?
Well, it's weird. Even if they don't, working with someone else always helps. I put on, because I'm able to put on a personality in social situations with other people in a way that I'm not just talking to the camera. I'm getting better about it. But yeah, natural. It's so much like if I do something with Connor or you, I project so much more, and I'm so much more energetic. I just wish there was a way to do it and it looked nice. Like I hate the quality. Like I started using StreamYard, but you can't even use 1080p quality. Like they lock you at 720 unless you pay like $39 a month, and I'm not going to pay for that. It's ridiculous. So I would do like partner videos all the time if it looked nice. It's because it's so much more comfortable for me and easy to bounce off somebody than to try to carry the whole ship.
Dude, that's part of why I've kind of just let the I try to make it look as nice as I can, but like everything we do is web video now because it's all live stream, and at least there's a consistency to that on my channel where people aren't expecting it to be like perfect, high def quality. Like if I was using a regular camera and editing and exporting, because it's live video and we're technologically not quite there yet. We're like everybody's live streams look like mine. I'm not special or anything.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I can get away with that way, but I've talked about this before, but part of the reason I live stream everything now is because it forces me to keep going regardless of how ready I feel like I am, or how like nervous I might be on camera that day, or because for me it's not so much about getting to an energy level, because I'm naturally more extroverted and I'm almost always a little bit more energetic maybe than your average person, DJ.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on like what we're talking about or what the show is or how prepared I feel like I am or not, for especially reviews and things, or like the rare time that I interview someone, I can come in and feel very anxious and very nervous, and I think I'm pretty good at hiding it. And sometimes people are surprised when I even say that.
Yeah.
But if you hear me like really prattle on at the beginning of a video and not let another person get a word in edgewise, it's because I am terrified to be there.
Yeah.
Or maybe not terrified, but I mean, there have been videos where it takes me about 5 or 10 minutes to really warm up to whatever it is I'm doing. So, the way that was a $2 super chat. We should we've got more super chats. We should get going with this. But that was a really interesting one. The way
we should do a GNN on making content at some point, because we talk about this off camera.
We do quite a bit. Yeah. The thing that helps me maybe the most these days, DJ, is the minute to minute and a half of lead-in music I put in front of the live shows now.
You're like a boxer, just bouncing, getting hyped up.
Yeah, no, really, it just focuses me, puts me in the right headspace, as opposed to just pushing a button and going, "Hello, everyone."
Yeah.
That helps a lot, and that's why I do it in front of every live video now. That was the thing I realized that a lot of other regular streamers were doing. Like, I'd never thought about it before, and I was like, well, I can't have more than, like, 20 or 30 seconds of, like, intro music before a video, and then I had to retrain myself and stop thinking of myself as a video producer and start thinking like a streamer. Yeah. And that's what I've decided I am now, partly for practicality, because I have a lot of kids and a lot of stuff going on, and I don't really have time to edit, and partly because I've gotten very, very comfortable with it. And so I'm like, okay, I got to stop holding myself to the old kind of video standards. I mean,
it's a whole different medium. Yeah,
it is. Yeah. And if I'm doing this and not a lot of pre-recorded, then again, it looks consistent and natural, and it doesn't, because I worried for a long time that it was looking like I was phoning everything in if I was streaming too much. And then I'm like, well, all I have to do is be upfront and be like, this is what the channel is now. Yeah. I've even, and I would love to take, I'm being very open about all of this. I would, DJ, be very interested in your opinion and anybody else's watching live right now about this idea. I've even considered going as far as putting the word live in the channel title.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I thought about going to that.
Interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
The only thing I don't like about it is it might make it look like we have a second channel that is not live.
Yeah.
But
I would think of that as a second channel name, I think.
But you know what I like about it? Immediately, if people see a channel that says, tell me if I'm wrong, if people saw our channel that said Geekvolution Live, all caps, maybe not all caps, the Geekvolution Live, and they look at the channel and they see that we haven't uploaded very many videos recently, they're more likely to click on the live tab and realize that we've been doing things. That's a lot of why I'm thinking about doing that.
Yeah, ever since they added that tab, and
you
I'll
look
go
like
to your channel sometimes, and I'll instinctively just click on the videos one because that makes sense in my brain, and then I'll be like, what is this old thing? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta go to the live.
Yeah, you look like a dead channel, and I did everything I could about it. Like I changed it because you can change the modules. I changed it so that the live module is right underneath recent videos, but you can't take the recent videos thing out. I wish you could.
Yeah.
Or move it anyway. So yeah. I'm kicking that around. I was afraid it was a crazy idea, but I said it out loud. We're talking about it. It sounds like a viable thing we should consider doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a crazy notion to change the name of the channel after 13, 14 years.
It at least has Geekvolution in it.
Yeah. Should go back to My Geek Life live.
Oh my God, that's a throwback. It's retro year on Geekvolution 2024. All right, well, that's some kind of record. We did a $2 super chat in probably 15 minutes. And nobody in the comments has anything to say about the live thing. Nobody cares if we do that or not.
Yeah, that might have been a little self-indulgent on both of our parts, that whole conversation, but we enjoyed it.
You know what? You and I don't get to talk enough.
No.
It's my show, and I'll ramble if I want to. Okay, let's get another. Let's get at least one more before the break.
Okay. Mutale, when are we getting an Aquaman commentary?
Yeah, like I said at the beginning of the show, I might try to front load it and do it right before Aquaman 2 comes out. And it'll be interesting to do that with Austin.
Yeah, because he doesn't like that movie.
I think he might like it a little bit more than Dan. I don't remember. He's in the comments. He'll tell us.
I think he said at the beginning of the stream that he wasn't a big fan.
Spoiler alert, this movie sucks. I don't think he and I have done a movie yet on the commentary project that we're on opposite ends of. We wouldn't be on opposite ends of that one, but like I don't think we've done anything yet that we don't have a lot of the same thoughts on.
Yeah.
And I've said this before, but I'll sometimes get that criticism from people where it's like, it'd be really nice if you had co-hosts that disagree with you. Oh, Austin and I do not always agree. Wait till we get to Wonder Woman, folks.
That Wonder Woman's going to be one for the ages.
Yeah. It's going to be great. Oh, Austin hates Aquaman. Okay, that'll be fun, though.
Yeah, I thought so, yeah.
I'll just be sitting there going, this is cool, and I'll be like, this is dumb. And that will be that entire...
That'll be the extent of it. Because you don't like... You have no skin in the game. You're not going to like fight for the movie. You're just like, who cares? I'm having fun. But you probably won't have fun watching it with him, though.
Well, that's okay. What I do find, and no disrespect to Austin or anybody else that I work with when we do a thing together that where we disagree, the difficulty with doing something like a rewind commentary where I'm trying more or less to make it more about story analysis than anything, like critical story discussion, is if you're not invested in anything and you really don't like it, it's a lot harder to talk about it with a person that is taking it seriously enough to really do that with it. Especially if they like it more than you do, where it's not just because a critical story analysis can sometimes be nothing about this works, here's why. And if one of you thinks that some things are working about it and you take it seriously enough to start breaking those things down and really do literary analysis with it, and the other person keeps breaking in with, yeah, I don't think that works, or I don't care about that, then it can be hard to really find your groove with two hosts on a thing like that. So that's what can be difficult about that. What tends to happen is, a respectful co-host that doesn't like the thing that the other person is talking about will just let them do all of that and just not really break in much until the subject is changed, and then they go, okay, now here's why I think this is really stupid. You know what I mean? You have to kind of take turns more, I think.
Yeah. You never want to just completely shut down the person you're having a conversation with. Obviously, that's not good etiquette.
Austin says he wants to front load Wonder Woman because he thinks it'll be a funny commentary. Yeah, that one will be really weird because I like that movie quite a bit.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
You and I have already done the commentary on that.
Yeah, we already did the glowing commentary.
That I kind of wanted to do, so I'll let Austin do more of the talking on that one.
Give him his platform for his Wonder Woman hate.
That'll be the title of the video. Austin's platform for his Wonder Woman hate. Scott Simmons suggests changing the name of the channel to Geekvolution Live with Captain Logan. That's interesting.
It sounds like a straight up late show.
It does. And given that we have a show that has, I'm in every video, and we have a show with Captain Logan in the title of it, it kind of catches all of it. I don't know if I'm seriously considering that, but I'm not considering
it. You're like hedging so hard. You want people to be mad either way. You're like,
could I be more diplomatic? No, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm actually feeling you out. Where I'm trying to decide if you think that's a bad idea.
Oh, I don't know. I would need to think about it. And
You're shocked that I even suggested putting anything. Just
different. Changing the name. Yeah, I'm such a purist. I'm such a longtime fan that it's just like blowing my mind.
Can I tell you what's nice about it? I think they let you change it every 6 weeks.
Yeah, I don't think they lock you in.
Twitch locks you in for 6 months.
Jeez.
Yeah. But if we did it and we decided it wasn't working, we would only be stuck with it for a few weeks.
Yeah.
I'm kicking it around.
Cool.
The thing, I never thought about putting my name in the channel title. What I like about that is when I meet people out in public that ask me what I do and they're curious about the channel, it is much easier to tell them to look up Captain Logan than to look up Geekvolution. It's a mouthful. People don't know how to spell it. People put an E in it and say Geek Evolution. There's all these. I mean, this is why I hated the name at the beginning when Ryan Flanagan came up with it. Where I'm like, nobody, that is not going to catch on. Nobody's going to know how to say it. And I was vindicated about that. I'm married to it. I tattooed it on my arm. But I was
G for anything. That could be.
Yeah, sure. But I was right about that. It played out. He's seriously considering it. Well, should we go ahead and take a break?
Should we take a break? Yeah, let's do that. Maybe we'll be more focused on after the break.
I don't think there's any chance of that. But everybody, thanks so much for being here. I hope you're having a good time.
We're trying to keep this in the spirit of an Aquaman film, the pacing and the organization of it.
That's it. Sorry, DJ, give me just 1 second. There's something I need to pull up that I had it a minute ago, but I lost it. I just got to get my music for the break here.
Oh, you can just hum it.
Well, I'm not going to... I have to go take a break, too. I'm not going to be sitting here the whole time.
You should hire someone. That should be like the Geekvolution...
the Geekvolution band.
The Geekvolution intern has to sit here and hum while
the
we're
Captain
over.
Logan Show band.
Brandon will do it.
All right, we'll see you in a bit, folks. 3.5 minutes.
But
Hey, finally let me sort of slide it down that time. That was good. Welcome everybody to the second half of the Captain Logan show, and it's time to get right back into questions. We'll see if we can hit a better average than one every 15 minutes. DJ, what else are you seeing in the super chat, sir? Oh, real quick, let me also say I just played the Kickstarter promo for Dan's comic. My dad's
Daddy Dan
comic, yeah, for Dan's comic Star Spangled Tales, and people seem confused there in live comments. Yeah, that's Dan's Kickstarter. Check it out. The link is on the video that I posted the other day. I should put it in the description for this video too. I don't think it is right now, but I just wanted to mention at the beginning of the show I said that only had a couple weeks. It looks like it actually has 3. I misremembered that. So like 22 days left, I think, on that Kickstarter. Okay, let's get to more questions, shall we?
All right. T-Edge1, $2, says, will Doom Vince be in the movie? You're the best. I like the spelling of Doom, D-E-W-M.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's Doom's Vince. That is a pet peeve of mine. Occasionally someone will call him Doom Vince. You have to get the S in there. It's Doom's Vince. Doom's Vince. Well, I don't know how much I want to give away about what we're doing with that movie. The only thing I'm willing to say, and then watch somebody come out and be like, Cap, you've talked about this. You've already said.
Doom's Vince will be in the movie as played by Brandon, though.
The only thing I feel comfortable guaranteeing right now is that Vince is involved in some way with that movie. But yeah, I will say that. I will say that he's gonna get something to do.
He'll be in there, but we'll leave you in suspense whether it is of the Doom variety.
The Doom's variety.
You can't tell me the things that annoy you because now I know.
Oh, that's a really good point. I shouldn't have done that. God, you're like a sibling, you know?
Yeah, we're brothers, man. Brother?
Oh, no.
You look rough, brother.
You know, people always say that's like a compliment. It's like, I don't need more of those. I'm good. Like,
well, and your kids will definitely say that.
That I'm like their brother? I hope not.
No, that they don't need any more of those things.
Oh yes, well they certainly don't. That's what they said when we found out we were having another kid.
They're like, no, it's gonna be great. You got a whole Power Rangers team. Holy, we will get to a crazy super chat in a minute. That just we just got a first time super chat that broke the stream.
Holy crap! I'm about to have a heart attack and die here. That's wild. Thank you so much. Okay, look, we need to hurry up and blow through all the other ones. Okay. Yeah. No, can I suggest we should maybe front load this one?
Sure.
I mean, maybe you had one loaded up. You wanted to go ahead and do now.
No, we can jump right into it.
And that's fine.
They have to leave the stream or something.
But yeah, it's somebody that I don't think has ever even left a super chat, and I don't want them to sit around and wait for us. With that kind of a super chat. But before you read it, you know what we got to do.
Yeah. What is this you're doing?
It's my go-to dance. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. I guess I could do this.
Puppet Master mixed with Doctor Strange.
This is the Spider-Man.
You could do the Geekvolution.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do, but it wasn't all on camera, so you couldn't even see it.
Like, so you had like a little
my
mini
camera's
version?
over here. Yeah. Anyway, okay, folks, a whopping $100 super chat.
I was doing the Kermit the Frog, by the way.
My goodness, I'm gonna assume that he's gonna win the stream probably. So again, if this is a person that's not planning on sticking around, just in case you win, you should probably let me know what kind of tier list you'd like me to do, because that is the price for the top super chatter tonight. But let's go ahead and get to the question. Go ahead, or to the comment. Go ahead, DJ.
I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. Is it Darth Jaber or Darth Gerber?
Jabber.
Darth Jabber?
Yeah.
I would love to say it correctly, so please let us know in the chat.
Austin, you guys are going to celebrate and dance and then read a more solemn super chat. Yeah, I didn't look real close to the super chat before we did that. It's just protocol here now on the Captain Logan Show, folks.
We don't make the rules.
I don't mean
policy.
Okay, look, we make them, then we stick to them, then we regret the rules.
Religiously.
Then we slightly alter them later on when we make massive mistakes. But, yeah, we didn't mean to be inappropriate.
No, we're just happy. It is his first super chat ever. It did notify me of that in the stream. Hey, Cap, I'm a longtime viewer. I hope you don't feel bad canceling all your stuff for this week. But I lost my dad 5 years ago, and I wish I got to do more with him. We used to watch all the DC animated movies until y'all said they got bad. He kept watching, but I didn't.
Oh, man. It's the obvious cliche thing to say, but of course, sorry for your loss. And thanks for thinking of me with that. Yeah, my full disclosure, my dad has been having some pretty major health problems recently. He's been in the hospital 3 times in the last 3 to 4 months. And luckily, he's been so he lives in a little town right outside of Topeka. So he's about an hour and a half away from me, and he tries to come see us once a month. But I don't see him as often as I'd like. And some months he can't make it. I can't always go out there. But he lives a lot closer than he used to. I used to live in Arkansas, so it's really nice that he's as close as he is. And whenever he's been in the hospital, he keeps having to come all the way out here to Kansas City. So when he's in the hospital, he's really close to me. So I'm able to go out and see him frequently. I'm not saying I'm glad he's in the hospital because he's closer, but because he's in the hospital here, I can go see him when he's out there and when he's sick. And he is massively diabetic, and he had his foot was like numb for like 6 months, just couldn't feel anything in it. And at one point he accidentally stepped on a nail and didn't even realize it until the end of the day because he had no feeling in that foot. So the nail was just there in his foot. And really, really long story short, he almost needed his foot amputated. And luckily, at this point, it looks like not only is he not going to have the foot amputated, but his foot is going to more or less fully recover. And we didn't think that was even possible. At first, he thought he was going to be dragging around a dead limb and he'd never drive again. Up until today, I thought he would never drive again. And we just found out he's probably going to drive again. He's got so much feeling back in his foot, it is ticklish again. And 3 months ago, he had no feeling in his foot whatsoever. And he had surgery on it the last time he was in the hospital about a month ago, where they took a bone out. And that's where all the bacteria was that was causing this, and that they were worried was going to get into the rest of his body. And if that bacteria got into his heart, he would be done. His heart or his kidneys, that was going to be pretty much the end of it. There would be nothing they could do about that. And so the big catch-22 kind of question, DJ, was do you amputate the foot so that it doesn't go anywhere and get back in your body, or do you hit it real hard with antibiotics and hope you can kill it before it goes anywhere? It's just a horrible conundrum, right? And he opted, he almost did the amputation. He ultimately, and he was going to amputate from under the knee down, and I'll try not to make this too long, folks, but and we'll talk about something fun here in a little bit. He was going to amputate from the knee down and have a prosthetic. He was already looking at prosthetics and stuff. He was getting kind of excited about what he might pick, what his leg would look like and all of that. And then
the blade leg, that would have been cool.
And he would have lived for some reason he's a big Minnesota Vikings fan. He wanted a purple one, and he was going to put Minnesota Vikings on it. I don't know. I don't know that he's ever been to Minnesota. I don't know why he just likes Vikings. I don't know what the deal is with my dad. But anyway, so long story short, I know I said that and then I kept talking, but there is more to it than everything I'm saying right now. He ultimately could not bring himself to do that, and he took the risk to hit it with the antibiotics. And then unfortunately, the bacteria did in fact move into more of his body, and it has not hit any vital places yet, but it is in his spine, and has been in his spine for the last month. They almost did back surgery. They opted to hit that with antibiotics, and they've been giving him treatments, and they've been able to stave it off from going anywhere else in his body. So it is just in his spine right now. and he's not in immediate danger, but he is in massive pain, and the antibiotics are just kicking his ass. And he's sleeping a lot, and he's having he was great and lucid today, but he's not feeling good. I mean, he's in a lot of pain, and we don't know how long he's going to be on these antibiotics. It could be up to a year. They're not even talking about surgery anymore. So the whole thing is, it's hard to be patient about it because we just don't know what's going to happen and how long he's going to have to live like this. And it sucks. But so it's one step forward and two steps back. Like he's got his mobility back, which is nuts. Like I didn't think that was going to happen, save an amputation, because you could live a relatively normal life if you had the prosthetic, but you wouldn't be able to drive without like hand controls or something. Yeah. But now apparently he's not going to have to worry about that anymore, which is great. But we have to deal with a spine thing. So anyway, I feel for you, Darth. What was his name?
Jaber,
yeah. And thanks for watching. And that, again, a name I don't recognize. I don't know if you've commented before. But we appreciate you, and I'm glad that you got some wonderful, valuable time with your dad before he passed. And that you had something like the superhero movies to bond over. And it's been difficult not to wonder at certain times with this whole thing for the last 4 months if it's not the beginning of the end, like how much longer I'm going to have with my dad. Because the diabetic thing is scary all by itself, and you just don't know what's going to happen. And Dad is really kind of wrestling with his mortality. I hope he doesn't mind me talking about this. I don't think that he would. But he's in good spirits. We had a really fun conversation this afternoon. We talked about we reminisced about rock concerts for like an hour and a half.
That's awesome.
In the hospital this afternoon, and so I've been getting some great one-on-one with my dad while he's been in the hospital, and it's meant a lot to him to just have me there, so he's not bored if nothing else. But so I'm trying to go down there whenever I can, and I would have been there earlier. I mean, part of the reason I canceled stuff this week is because, or the reason I canceled stuff this week, is because I expected to go to the hospital earlier, and I just wanted to be open for him, and he was doing so many tests and stuff up until today that it didn't make sense for me to go until now, which is why I was doing some other shows and things, because it turned out I had more time on my hands than I thought I did. And so I thought I would make some things that I didn't have to plan. But anyway, thanks for the super chat. I don't know how to thank you for that, but that was remarkable and amazing. And if you are so inclined, I hope you will come up with something fun for me to rank and send me. Just leave it as a comment here, or put it under the YouTube notes later, or send me an email.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not like, you ever been in that like in between place where you feel like you should start tearing up, but you're not real, like you don't actually have the tears, but you're like right before that. I'm in that like right before that kind of place where like I'm saving it back, I'm good, but like it's if somebody said the wrong thing to me right now, the tear flow would happen. I think that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. You just need a little bit more doomsday in this episode for you to tear up.
Like, more doomsday, like Death of Superman that sucks, or
either way, apparently it still makes you tear up.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, but that only worked the one time.
Okay. That's a one and done.
Yeah, I hadn't planned on getting real in depth about that, but I don't know. That super chat made me want to kind of open up about it.
No, it's always great when people who don't comment a lot. I mean, obviously we appreciate the longtime commenters, but when you get someone who's been watching forever and they put in a heartfelt comment like that, those are just the best. I recommend doing that. You don't even know how much it means to creators when you guys leave comments. So if you're hesitant about leaving comments, like you don't feel like you're going to say the right thing, don't worry about it, because it all means so much to the YouTubers.
Yeah. And obviously, it's not just about the super chats and stuff. Like, leave a regular comment.
Just comment. Yeah.
I'm more likely to with things. I mean, DJ's watching it like a hawk. He'll see a comment like that. But especially like after a show, you know, if you really want me or DJ to see something like that after the show, we'll see it in the comments.
Yeah. I mean, we still read all the comments.
Austin, Cappy sent you $100. At least give him a tier. I can't cry on cue. Like, I don't have that.
He's not that great of an actor. I mean,
I'm not an actor.
He's working on his first film, but
dude, I'm about to make this movie where I'm gonna have to do a lot of acting. I don't know how I'm gonna pull it off. Like, I'm not an actor. I'm thinking. Have I said this before? I'm thinking about taking acting lessons before.
You told me that off camera, I think.
Well, I'm thinking about it, and that's probably when we do the Kickstarter. That's where some of that money will go. Is acting lessons.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I can't wait to see it.
And like we talked about last night with the stream that Austin and I did, cardboard cutouts of Geekvolution co-hosts that can't actually be on camera, so they have cameos. We're talking about that. We're talking about making cardboard cutouts.
I did. I went back and listened to that episode. I was getting back into town, flying in to Atlanta from Dallas last night, and apparently they shut the train. If you don't know this, Atlanta Airport is like one of the big. I think it's like the biggest airport one of the biggest airports in the world, and they apparently turned the train off at a certain point in the night. And I got back at midnight last night, and I had to walk the entire length of the airport, which took me like 40 minutes.
Oh no, I've done that in some airports. At Atlanta, or
yeah, that's
a big airport too.
It's huge.
Yeah, look, that's my favorite airport, but I don't necessarily want to have to walk the whole damn thing. Like,
no, I mean, it's got a train with like 12 stops, and like we had to walk the whole thing. I was listening to you in Austin last night while I was trapped at an airport with other people at 1:00 in the morning, and then I had to drive, an hour back from the airport to get home. So I didn't get home. I got home very late last night.
Man,
it was fun. It was a fun adventure.
Let me just say real quick too, because they're in the comments. Blue Dragon 5 mentioned that his grandfather passed away recently, and I just want to say I'm sorry to hear about that too, Blue Dragon 5.
Yeah, there's a lot of people being super super nice to each other in the comments. Maybe we'll get that tier after all.
Okay, for the record, generally on our shows, people are nice to each other. I don't want anybody new to think that this is what it takes for people to be civilized and friendly in the live chat. Hey, can I ask people if they've been having this issue lately? I'm hoping that it's just a glitch in YouTube and that it's not like a permanent thing. But all today, I haven't been able to see the old live feeds for any videos.
Oh, the live chats?
Yeah, because they save them, and I go back and look at them later very, very frequently. And today I went back to look at the one from last night, and it's not there. None of the live chats on our videos are there, and I'm not sure what's causing that.
There's been something weird I've noticed with your channel where the live streams will like show up later than things that came out after them. I don't know. It's very strange.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, I know that he did this last night, but then it won't show up in my subscription feed till like way after things that came out this morning. It's very strange.
It also keeps showing streams in the wrong order.
That's what I mean.
Oh,
it's
okay, yeah.
It's coming out in the wrong part of my feed. I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, but it's doing it in the list too.
Oh.
At least on the back end. So I don't know. It's weird. Okay, let's get some more comments here. Some more questions here. We got about half an hour left of the show. I don't feel like we've talked about a lot.
All right, lightning round. TH1. $2.
It's like cramming for a test. Yeah, go ahead.
Unrated or theatrical unrated or theater version tomorrow?
Oh, I'm gonna let Austin decide that because I know nothing about that movie. So once again, we're doing, you can see it on your screen there, but we're doing the Alien vs. Predator blind commentary tomorrow night. I've never seen it before. I'm going to come in totally blind, I mean, as you can see, totally unprepared, and I didn't even know that there were multiple cuts. So probably whatever is easier to stream would be the way to go, but I'll let Austin make the final call on that.
All right.
I mean, I'll have to be able to stream it because it's not like I own that.
How different?
Hold on, Blue Dragon 5 says it's because it streams but live, but then saves then posts like the day after or something. That's not been my experience with these. I mean, like it immediately posts like right after we're finished.
Yeah, that's how it usually is.
I can go in and right away start seeing comments and views and stuff. It actually used to take a little longer than that. It used to have to process. It doesn't seem to do that anymore. And this is a recent thing that's only been happening to me the last 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. Same thing with the thing that I was talking about that I noticed. Mutale, Super Chat, how different do you think Volume 2 would have been if Gunn kept Jason as Quill's father? Also, what are the odds you like Reeves' third Batman film more than Rises?
Okay. I'll tackle that second one first, because I think that's all going to kind of depend on what his sequel looks like. Or did he say his second film or his third film?
He said third.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what a second movie is going to be yet. You know what I mean? So if that comes out and I don't really care for the overall direction he's going, I'll be more leery of that third movie, of course. I guess with the track, I see where he's going. With a track record of trilogies in superhero movies, maybe I should just be leery of third movies in general, no matter who's making them, where very often you get... I talked about this a couple days ago, but very often, or was it last night? I forget. You'll get third movies that are made by the same person that made the first two that is clearly burnt out by then. You had that with the first with the second set of X-Men movies, kind of, and you have that, in my opinion, with Rises and with Raimi Spider-Man. But then you'll also get things where a new person will come in and they just don't have, the same vision and stuff. But then, you don't have that with Guardians. I think Guardians 3 is probably the second best of those. I think I like it better than the second movie at this point. So it's it's really hard to say. I think, gun to my head, James Gunn to my head, my expectation with Reeves is that he'll be more consistent than Nolan ultimately was. But I also think that third movie looks way, way different than if Heath Ledger had not passed away before that. I think that had something to do with just his enthusiasm or lack thereof for making that movie. Maybe it would have been more or less the same. It's hard to say, because I also got the sense that he just really didn't want to make anymore, and he did it anyway. That's always been my feeling with that. So yeah, it's really hard to say. Those are weird things to compare this early. But as far as Volume 2 with Guardians, that would have been a way different movie, because Corsair wouldn't have been a big planet. Is it Corsair? Or is that Cyclops' father? Now I'm feeling I might be mixing characters up. I forget.
I don't know anything about
He's a spaceman. There's no way it wouldn't have been, quite... Conceptually, you would have started from a very different place. It still probably would have been kind of a, bad father-son story, I would imagine. So, in some ways, it might have been a little bit similar, but where, he'd finally find his father again and then realize that it's not his real dad, that whole plot. And I imagine that's where Gunn would have taken it regardless. But you wouldn't have had Ego. Because I think that starts from the idea, just the kind of really brilliant idea, at least on paper, that will make Ego his dad. It's such a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving right along.
All right, Mutale again. What if Walt Simonson wrote Wonder Woman?
Oh yeah, wow. I've never thought of Simonson as... I'm going to be fair, I don't read a lot of Wonder Woman, and so I I don't really bring her up a ton when we do these kinds of like, who should write this character question, or can you believe this person didn't write this character? I've never had that thought, but I'd like to see Simonson write some Greek mythology stuff in general to compare it to his Norse mythology, because he really does his homework with that stuff with Thor, and then makes it his own and bringing it into the Marvel universe. So, he would be, now that you say that, I mean, I guess he should be at the top of my list for somebody to do a Wonder Woman run. It's really interesting. What would be cool is if he and his wife tag teamed it. Like Louise Simonson writes a Wonder Woman run and he draws it, or they co-write it.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I like fantasy stuff.
As far as what exactly it would look like, it's hard to say, and it depends on when he's writing it. But I could see the same kind of take, with the Thor run where he's on it for a really long time, 8 or 10 years or whatever, and he just has a very in-depth, complex mythology with a lot of the same kind of like backstabbing gods, kind of storylines like he does with Thor, and give us that level of melodrama and soap opera. It'd be wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had some of that stuff for Wonder Woman now, but it would be cool to see his flavor of it, especially if you found a way to do some of the goofier comic book stuff and still make it really weighty and sometimes disturbing like he did. Because what's amazing about the Simonson run is that you can simultaneously get some really heavy stories and go to dark, scary places, like with the Ragnarok stuff, like with Surtur and all of that, and then you can have like really heartfelt stuff. It's been a long time since I've read that, but really heartfelt stuff, like what we do with the relationship with Thor and see, it's been too long since I've read this stuff, and Horseface guy. Why can't I think of his name?
The Beta Ray Bill.
Beta Ray Bill, thank you. And you can also do like
horse.
Frog Thor and crazy stuff like that.
Next one's from Ian Chandler. Hey, Kat.
Hi.
I haven't had a chance to super chat in quite a while as I've become a dad.
Oh, wow.
But I wanted to show some support again. Keep up the great vids. This is just a father-son stream we're having tonight.
It really is. And I didn't know what they were talking about, but somebody mentioned the kind of surprising contrast where we had somebody that left a super chat about losing his father, and somebody has just become a father.
Well, that's how science works.
Well, yeah, but just what? You have to have opposites all the time. You got to get.
Yeah, it's got to balance. Yeah, the force has to balance out.
By the way, I haven't done the gong all night, so that's just for everybody. Oh my God, that's bad.
You shattered the gong in half.
No, I just spilled water all over my desk, and I've got equipment here, so that's bad. Do I wanna? I'm going to take a real quick break here, folks. I got to get a towel. Can you... Sorry about that. That was a bad place for a glass, apparently. Anyway, guys, my apologies. Give me just a couple of minutes to clean this up. It shouldn't take very long. That was brilliant. It really was. I'm an absolute genius. I don't know where the music went. We're having a day here. Okay, anyway. Okay, apologies there. TJ, I absolutely soaked a Blu-ray player. I mean, it was just underwater. Yeah.
That's like that's you're killing me, man. That's just took out my soul.
It still ejects, so it seems like the mechanics are working, the mechanism's working, but I don't know. I guess I'll test it more later. That was different. Never done that before.
That's the first time. I love it. I mean, I don't love that it happened, but you got to keep breaking barriers in this YouTube space and trying new things.
Are you saying we're really gonna appreciate that later on?
It's gonna be one step in the geek evolution.
Oh no! Don't say that. People
Gotta put
already
it
think
in
that's
there.
what the channels go. Okay. So I'm a hashtag F the gong.
We're retiring the gong after just a few months.
Yeah, I might send that to somebody in the mail. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I put my glass in the wrong place. I usually have it in a different place on my desk, and there was one already there, and I didn't have time to move it. So anyway, who cares? Nobody cares. Let's get more questions. We have 20 minutes left of the program, unless we go a few minutes over. I guess I could have let you just keep taking questions from people, but I didn't want to be, I didn't want to keep my camera on in case I had to keep coming over here for some reason.
I would have loved you mutedly cleaning in the background as I spoke. It would have been great. Just
Yeah.
waxing on.
Connor says, Cap has taken this opportunity to upgrade to a 4K setup. No, because I don't have a projector that's compatible with 4K. And I still can't tell the difference well. My problem is if I get a 4K player, I'm going to start buying everything in 4K. And I'm going to eventually want to upgrade some things in 4K. And, there's really no good reason to do that, except I've got a thing that plays it. It's not a good enough reason to do it for me. I don't know.
Everybody pour one out for the poor Blu-ray player that took one for the team this evening. He'll be missed. He will be missed.
I'm not saying for sure that I'll never use the gong before. That was a joke.
All right. We read Ian Chandler's, and now Mutale. Thoughts on Elemental's performance? Yeah, we haven't talked about that.
So Elemental is a Pixar movie that's kind of like, what's the one about feelings?
Oh, Inside Out. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like a knockoff of Inside Out, but this time it's with fire and water and stuff. I took one look at that trailer and said, I don't care. And I think that's what everybody did. I want to say it's not that like everybody's done with those kinds of movies, or necessarily that Pixar can't put out another big movie that people will be excited about. I think the premise just looked kind of too derivative. It looks like Inside Out again.
Oh, I think what he means is that it's actually doing really, really well.
Oh, I thought it bombed at the box office.
No, it had a really low opening, and then it had the best legs of any movie in
I didn't know
years.
that. I didn't hear anything else about it. I saw one video where somebody was kind of making a big deal out of how horrible an opening weekend it had, and I never heard anything else about it. Well, that's fascinating then. So
yeah, it's
maybe
in the top
it's
10
just
of the summer. It's at the 10 space.
Okay, that suggests it got really good word of mouth, and it turns out. So I feel a little vindicated on this. I don't think whatever that movie actually is, I don't think they advertised it right, because it just didn't look exciting to me. I could not bring myself to care, and I didn't hear anybody talking about it. And so I bet it turns out that it's actually really good, and they just didn't know how to market it, which is not unusual for Pixar. Some of those movies are really difficult to crack the code of how do you make people understand what this is, and if they're really good, they'll do okay anyway. So that it seems like that remains true. Apologies, I didn't know that it was doing well.
Yeah, I saw it opening weekend, and I liked it. It's not one of my favorites that they've done in recent years, but yeah, it's crazy how it's overperformed. It's still in theaters now. It's still making money. It started really low and then curved up and just stayed up for the entire summer. It came out 3 months ago. It's still in there.
Yeah,
so
interesting.
that's cool. I'm happy. I'm happy to see Pixar doing well again, because they really just tarnished their brand with the whole straight to streaming thing for a few years.
Alex Barron is tattling on Austin, saying that he's being an apologist for Hitler. I mean, it's just another day at the office for Austin, really.
Yeah. What else is new?
Yeah, sure. He's saying whatever he can. Did you not notice the thing he said a little bit earlier where he said the only good jokes are offensive jokes? Don't take him seriously. He'll also he'll figure out whatever like ethnicity or nationality you are, then he'll just be super racist just because he thinks it's funny. That's what he'll do.
Yeah, he doesn't care if anyone else thinks it's funny.
No,
that's not himself.
That's not important, and he doesn't actually think anything he says ever. You'll understand Austin if you go back and you just think the opposite of everything he's ever said in a video. Actually,
Josh Calisano, $2.
Connor says that movie was fine.
Yeah, it was. I had good things about it and bad things about it. Josh Calisano wants to know: Galactus arrives. Yeah. What do you do?
Well, I mean, clearly you bend at the knee and you pray. That's what you do. I mean, all hail the great Galactus. It's really the same thing as if Lord Zed shows up, right?
You flee to Canada, of course, because he's not going to attack the Canadians.
Yeah, no. I'm hoping to be his herald.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that's the thing. No,
you always have a choice.
Yeah, well, unless Galactus shows up, then you really don't have much of a choice at all. You really, I mean, unless he wants you as his herald, then what are the odds? You're 1 out of 8 billion people. And he might already have one. That might be how he found you. Remember Silver Surfer? You know that guy, Nova. Like he's got those very often. No, there's not a lot you could do. You know, I mean that's like when somebody decides to build a bypass. A spatial bypass and take your planet out like in Hitchhiker. Like there's just you might have a few hours and you get your affairs in order, you know.
Well, I know what everyone would actually do if it did happen is they would just pull out their phones and start recording, and then most of them would die.
That's probably true. I would make a video speculating about whether or not Saturn still exists. That's what I would do, and just being glad that at least it's not a boring giant cloud.
Yeah. It's like, yes, he's wearing the purple.
He's got a kilt. Yeah.
His headdress looks like it weighs 70 pounds.
Anyway.
All right, moving on. Played Out, $5. Have either of you seen Kubrick's 2001? Any thoughts? If so, thanks.
Not since I was a kid, and I feel like a fake sci-fi fan.
For wow! I didn't know it was that long.
Yet again, I don't know if I've ever even seen all of it, man. Like, I keep meaning to go back and finally do that because I'm gonna hang it up right now. I'm gonna say good night, everybody. Yeah, I don't like to admit that I don't know 2001 very well, but it turns out I do not. Sarah and I have been threatening to sit down and watch that together for a long time because she's never seen it.
Yeah, I've only seen it once, and I liked it quite a bit, but I have been itching to go back to it. I want to get my hands on the 4K copy and pop that in the theater and give it its due because I liked it quite a bit when I watched it.
You guys are really rubbing in this 4K thing.
Well, that's
were you like, hey, Cap, you need to...
that I want to see that way.
No, but admit it. You think I'm a fake movie fan because I don't watch things in 4K. That's what you and Connor think about me.
No, not at all. Tell. I don't even have that many 4Ks. I
can tell. Yes, but you have the means. And no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I bet that looks great like that if your eyes are better than mine.
Yeah, just because I saw it was on Max or something, and I was like, oh, I want to watch that. That looks really good. I popped in like the first 5 minutes. I was like, oh yeah, I really want to get this on disc and watch it in all its glory because I like it. I like it quite a bit.
The Connor just wrote, Cap looking up to the sky. Thank God he's comics accurate. Exactly. It's just how I would respond. It'd be really funny if he had his original coloring. Then everybody would just be laughing at Galactus while he's destroying the world.
He doesn't care what you think of his wardrobe choices.
Yeah, he doesn't have to. He can look as stupid as he wants to. You're all gonna die.
Yeah. All right.
But yes, thank you for the question. Thank you for exposing me once again.
Yes, please. Any super chat you can put in to expose Cap, we love him.
Captain Logan exposed. Cap has not seen 2001 confirmed.
Confirmed.
Cap opened the show saying you'd like to talk about sci-fi. You brought up like the most obvious possible
maybe the greatest sci-fi movie of all time.
Yeah, Cap doesn't know it very well. It's one of those things where I go, I know this movie is probably kind of boring. Like, I remember it being that. I mean, everybody always talks about that, even though, like, you know, it's supposed to be a masterpiece, and it was a very important movie really... and looks really cool. But I never feel like I'm in the mood for it, even though I haven't seen it long enough. I know I don't fully know what experience I'll have with it. Like, I know some of what happens in 2001, but I just don't know what experience I'll have with it.
Yeah, I don't know that it's a cat movie. It's not.
It's like probably not. I mean, I'm not a big Kubrick guy in general. So.
Yeah, it's a very interpretive movie. You don't like David Lynch. You don't like you're much more of the analytical kind of character-driven movies. And a lot of people's love for that is based on like the filmmaking aspect, which you also don't get super excited about. So if you don't like it, I wouldn't hold anything against you.
Now, that's not fair. I find filmmaking really interesting, but I don't want to be thinking about that while I'm watching a movie, right? So it's about the experience in the first place. Like, in fact, I'll fight you on that and say I'm interested enough in filmmaking that right now, in this moment, I'd rather watch a documentary about it than watch the movie.
Yeah,
True. I'll go that far. I would do that right now, actually. But I'm not actually that interested in sitting through it.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's kind of what I meant. I just meant you're interested in learning about that stuff, obviously, but you wouldn't be doing a film channel. But like, just like sitting there and watching it and kind of appreciating it on that level is more what I was talking about.
Yeah, it entirely depends on what it is. Like, the story's got to be there first to really grab me, and then I'm more interested in how it's made. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm just trying to stir up controversy. Is really what I'm doing right now.
And I'm just trying to give you a pass in case you don't end up liking it.
No, I actually really appreciate that. He's like, he's over there watching my back, and I'm like throwing grenades.
You're like, don't try to help me. I'm going down with the ship.
I won't go down with this ship.
TH1, another $2 super chat. Did you see that they announced Paper Mario 2 remaster?
Yeah, Jason told me all about the Nintendo Direct from this morning, and I decided not to make that the lead-in topic because the last time I did that, nobody cared. But yeah, some really interesting announcements for games they're remaking and remastering. They're doing quite a few things. I'm forgetting everything he told me about right now, but that was... Paper Mario was one of the big ones. There wasn't anything that I was super excited about, except for they're doing a remaster for Switch for the original Tomb Raider games. And that's exciting. Oh. I will maybe buy those.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet. I love remasters. I mean, we're retro guys, so those are cool.
Yeah, Paper Mario, I think it was Thousand Year Door they're doing, which was is that the GameCube one? So, you know, they're doing that, and they're doing the original Super Mario RPG, and I haven't played through either of those games. Super Mario RPG, I played a couple hours, but I've never gotten very far in. So when those finally come out that way, I will likely finally play them. I have been playing the original Paper Mario on 64, and I've been enjoying that. And I'm not a big RPG guy, but it's been fun to finally play that. Because I played some of the Mario and Luigi stuff, but I've never actually played Paper Mario. So that's pretty neat. And then they're doing this hilarious online multiplayer thing. DJ, I don't know how much you know about the stuff with Switch. If you know about the number games they've done, like Super Mario 35 and Tetris 99. Do you know about that stuff?
I looked at the online stuff briefly. I think I signed up for like the free week trial, and then I canceled it. So I saw some of that. So
they do these games, but they're like limited time, which is annoying. They do these games where a bunch of players it's like chaos intentionally. A bunch of players all get on at once and kind of, it's like a survival mode thing, like see how long you can stay alive or like how many points you can get before a round is over. And Mario 35 was the most fun of those. They did that for the 35th anniversary, where you have 35 people all playing through Super Mario 1 levels simultaneously. It's really fun, and they shut it down. They you can't play it anymore after the anniversary after that year, and they did Tetris 99. Which they might actually still have that, I'm not sure. But anyway, they just announced an F-Zero 99. which is hilarious because I don't know if you know about F-Zero, but that was a launch title for the Super Nintendo. It's still in my mind one of the best Super Nintendo games, and it was a futuristic racing game that has a killer soundtrack, but it was only a one-player game. It's a racing game. You can only play with one player because it was the first Mode 7 game, and it was Mario Super Mario World has a little bit of Mode 7 in it, but it was the first like full-on game taking a full advantage of the Mode 7 capability, which was kind of like a fake way to simulate 3D. And the game was so graphically intensive that they couldn't put a two-player mode in it. It didn't have enough space on the cartridge to handle it. And so now and it will be those graphics. It will be that game. Now we're gonna have an online game where a game that you used to not be able to play two-player, you'll play with 99 different people. That's wonderful. It's really funny. So I'm kind of excited to do that. I'm thinking about streaming it. They sleeper drop these, so that they announced this morning, and it's available now. You can go play it, and if you have the online, you don't have to pay any extra for it. You just go on and play it. So I'm thinking about streaming that. That'll be funny. I'm not great at F-Zero, but sorry, I just smacked one of my rings against the microphone.
Cap's bling is too much to handle for this microphone.
Yeah, I got a new one. Did you see it?
I saw the post you did about it. Yeah.
I guess I've got too much light here, but there's my new Superman ring. How many more super chats do we have?
We are on the final super chat.
Oh, sweet. Well, let's knock that out then.
Wrap it up, unless you guys want to out Cap anymore. This is from Victor Herman, $9.99.
Mr. Hurd.
Mr. Herman.
Herman.
Would you be interested in seeing another adaptation of The Killing Joke? If so, how would you want it approached? Also, thanks for sharing your dad's story, Cap. Hope he'll be okay.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate the super chat. I was not in a hurry to see an adaptation of Killing Joke in the first place. That's another one of those things kind of like Watchmen. It seems like everything Alan Moore does is like this. That just really does not need to be adapted. It's just so much of a comic book in the first place. But I think you could do it better than it was handled. It's one of those things where you can't, when you're adapting something, you can't treat it like the Bible. You want to be, and you have to be case by case with it, I think. So you want to be, first and foremost, I think, and this is across the board, true to the spirit of it, and what the and try to get as close to the flavor as you can to the thing, but to feel like you have to adapt it, like 100% straight. There's really minor changes with that. And of course, they added the Batgirl thing at the beginning to pad it out, but like that's one of those things that not enough was changed with. It's not quite as egregious in that way as Year One was, but it still, I think, kind of has that problem. Like, I would have dropped the Joker singing bits entirely. Like, it's weird, the ways that they're forced to adapt, because you got to come up with a melody for that, but then they clearly want it to be as exactly as it was as they can. Those things start being really at odds with each other. You've got to adapt more, I think. And I think, if you got to do that, it's not long enough to be a whole movie. So instead of tacking on like an extra thing and making it sort of a two-part vignette film, you'd want to pad it with more story somehow that feels all, interconnected and like it's all of a piece. But yeah, I'm not really interested in more of that. And I think the last thing they should have done is cast voices you're already familiar with, using a lot of the same dialogue from that book, because they just don't fit. Like, I'm thinking about the other performances and other versions of those characters while I'm watching this very distinctly specific thing. I think the way they got the character models, the style from that book is okay. I think it actually translates okay visually, but a lot of the specific choices they made, and especially the voice acting choices, it was kind of a mistake. And I get that that Mark Hamill, only wanted to come back for that movie, so they cast him. But like, I still think it's a mistake. And I get that both of those guys have done other versions of Batman and the Joker, and it's worked better. Like, or I get that they've done them with other things, but I've been more okay. Like with Arkham, it felt like with Arkham games, it felt like a like kind of more adult version in some ways. Like a more grown up Batman the animated series. It was kind of okay that it was those same voices. And they were voicing them differently, which I guess they were kind of trying to do with that movie too. But yeah, I don't know. I would pick entirely different voices than anybody that's played them before, and I would do more real, honest to God adaptation. That's what I would do with that.
I do have one more here.
Yeah, thanks.
From Utale. Have you watched the GQ video Gunn did talking about his top 5 comic book films? Also, should Gunn have gotten Dini and Tim to be part of his DCU writing team?
No, I don't think so. Fresh blood. I think is the way to go. I mean, I miss Dini. I would love to see him do more Batman stuff. But I don't know how well his sensibilities necessarily mesh with Gunn's. Like, I would want people that are, I don't know. Now I'm on the fence about what I'm even saying. Like, maybe not. Well, because I don't want to contradict myself. I want to see more like good, talented comic people come in and do movies. And it is kind of a shame that Dini never did big screen stuff. But like no offense to him or Tim or any of those guys, but like they've worked on this stuff for years and years and years. And I'm concerned about a little bit about burnout and stuff. Like I think it's maybe time for. I don't know who, but I think it's maybe a time for people that haven't worked on that side of the industry as much, but that have done stuff in superhero, in comics, to come in and pitch stuff and write scripts. But as far as that video that he did about his top 5 movies, yeah, I saw that when it came out, and was not especially surprised by his picks. Like, some of them were kind of weird and off the beaten path, but that's not remotely surprising for him.
Yeah.
Noah said I'd get Dini in there, but not Tim. Yeah, Dini definitely over Tim. Now, I will say this. I don't know if I want to see Dini come in and be part of like the architecture of that universe, just because he has such a like specific style that I don't know if I see meshing with Gunn. Maybe I just don't know. But I would rather see him. Or I'm worried he'd get trampled a little bit. Like, I would much rather see him come in, if he was going to do anything, and do, like, a stand-alone thing that he gets full creative control over that has nothing to do with a shared universe. Blushy DX says people wanted Tim and Dini to run the DCU. I wonder if they would have accepted. I don't know how I would have felt about it if that had happened. I really don't. Tim has just had such a hit and miss track record since the DCEU days. Like, I think you have to keep in mind sometimes like how long it's been since people did their best work and what they've done lately. And I don't mean to have like a "what have you done for me lately" attitude with it. I just mean that to look at a creator and go, well, don't forget, they did these things that are beloved that everybody really likes like 20 or 30 years ago, does not mean that they're going to put out that same kind of material now. It also doesn't mean that the material they do now is going to be bad, but it will be different because they're different people now. And I just think it's really important to keep that in mind. And that's why my response to that is not, oh God, no. It's, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know I actually don't know what that looks like. At this time, I don't know what attitude, especially Bruce Timm, would have in the live action for a more mass audience. Like, I don't know how much more seriously or not he would take it. I really couldn't begin to tell you how he would run that. He also has never run anything live action, so I don't think he would take that job. Mm-hmm. And I don't think Warner's would ever offer it to him. But he is on the other hand, he would be better. He makes more sense immediately in my brain for running a studio than Gunn, because he's got that experience with that level of organization with like multiple shows at once and that kind of thing. Like he's been a creative and a business guy, or I guess I can't say business guy, but organizer, leader at the same time before, and Gunn hasn't really done that. So, that aspect of it makes a lot of sense. Okay, did we ever get a response from our friend that left the big super chat about what he would want for the tier list? Or was
Not that I saw.
Okay, who is our runner-up? Because what I'll do is I will let him pick it if I get a message from him in the next couple days, or like, before I make that video. But I want to have something as a runner-up in case he's not interested in that.
That might be tough, because...
Is it like a 15-way tie?
No, I think it might be Mutale, but I'm going to have to do some conversion of...
Oh, that's tough. The South African Rand thing?
Yeah.
How dare you be from South Africa?
Because he put in a lot tonight.
Yeah. No, thanks, Mutale. We sure appreciate you, buddy.
14 plus 35 plus 14 plus 14. Yeah, I might have to calculate that. I don't know.
I can just put out a post later on about it.
Okay.
If you need me to.
Yeah, I can figure it out. I just don't know how.
Because we have a clear winner here, but we never heard from him about that. So it may be that he was in and out and just wanted to leave that super chat and wasn't interested in the prize. So.
Yeah, I think it might be Mutale just by the sheer number he put in, but I don't know if that adds up to over $10, which was our runner-up Victor Herman put in. He put in that $10 super chat. So, but I'll have to add up all of and convert all of Mutale's.
Okay. Mutale says, if it's me, then my rankings would be tier ranking on superhero directors. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd have to be selective about it. Like, I'm not going to be able to put in everybody.
Yeah.
But what I would probably do is figure out, like, all the directors that have done at least 2. And then see how many that is.
Yeah, that'd be a good way to do it.
And then maybe narrow it down to directors that have done 3. if that's too big a number. But yeah, I'll look into that. Okay, so we know what Mutale wants, so we'll do his if that ends up being... You're not going to figure this out before the show's over, are you?
I can't even get my computer to listen to me to pull up my calculator. It's revolting against me.
No problem. Well, Mutale, thanks for giving us a thing there. And if it ends up not being him, then we'll... Well, who did you say was the other runner-up, potentially?
The other potential is
Victor Herman?
Victor Herman.
Okay. Is he still here? Victor, if you're still
know.
here, would you also give us a selection? We're putting it on the spot. But then I can just go with whoever we know for sure is winning later.
Yeah.
But if not, I'll put out a post later and hope Victor sees it. And then if he doesn't, and if the top super chatter doesn't contact me, then I'll just do Mutale's, which is a really good pick. Sounds hard. Because it's a little... With directors... That's why I want to do directors that have done multiple things.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's really hard not just say, well, this director made a movie I liked, so he goes up here. You know what I mean? Like, how do you compare them? Although I guess there is a difference between this is a good movie and this movie is, like, relatively better directed than these other movies. There's that. I'm probably not qualified to do that.
It does look like Victor does take it.
Oh, Victor takes it. Okay. Well,
so we've gone too long, and our 2 top super chatters have left the stream. So
yeah. Well, apologies, Mutale, but I might front load that and do that sooner rather than later, because that is a really good idea.
Yes, South African Rand are deceptive because there was 112 of those, but it comes out to about 588 according to Google's translator.
Oh, well, Victor, that's not how the ranked tier thing works. It's not like It's not in an order. He says my selection would be a ranked tier of movies Austin hasn't seen that Cap thinks he would hate. I don't even know how I'd put that together. Like, you're giving Austin homework there. No, I'm sorry, Victor. I'm going to need you to pick something a little bit more clear-cut than that. The tier list thing is like you're giving them grades, basically. Where, like, S tier is at the top and the best, and then after that it's like A, B, C, D, and, like, E or F. And then for each item... you just put the, so there's not an order. You just put them in, right? You don't have to put them in an order.
No, you just put them on each level. Yeah.
Victor, just leave a comment after the show in the same place, because we're gonna go ahead and wrap up here. But yeah, and sorry for vetoing that. It's just I can't give Austin that kind of homework. Because I don't know what he's seen and what he hasn't seen necessarily. I mean, I know some things he hasn't seen. But, like, to have to sit around and come up with, like, things I know Austin would not like. Sounds difficult. Okay, guys, thanks a lot for being here. We sure appreciate it. Austin and I will be back again tomorrow night for a blind commentary on Alien versus Predator. I've never seen that movie. You're going to get my response in the moment all the way through. I'm weirdly excited to finally watch that because I've heard about it for years and I have an idea in my head of what it is. And I just know it's going to be different from that. Victor's going to think about it and give us the answer a little bit later. But yeah, just pick like a topic with a, finite number of things, or that I can be kind of selective about. That I can rank. Anyway, DJ, did you have a good time?
I did. I had a great time. What a fun show. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, this was an eventful show. We had a $100 super chat. I might have...
A lot of firsts.
I might need that money for a new Blu-ray player. I don't know yet. Anyway, you guys are wonderful. We sure appreciate you. We will see you again tomorrow night, and I might do something over the weekend, too. We'll see you later, folks. I was Captain Logan. This was DJ Martinez.
Bye, guys.